The views and opinions expressed on this show belong solely to the hosts and their guests and do not reflect the views of any on-site institutions unless explicitly stated.
What's up, everybody? My name is Steve Vanderwall.
And I'm Justin Klosser.
And we're your hosts of Cannabis Cum Laude, a podcast devoted entirely to cannabis. We're going to talk cultivation, business, medicine, politics, culture, advocacy, and everything in between.
The cannabis industry is complicated. It's robust. It has a lot of moving parts. And it's our job to help you understand it just a little bit better. So tune in every week for a brand new episode. And if you have a question that you'd like answered on the show, send it on over to questions@cannabiscumlaude.com. Thanks. Enjoy the show.
Right on. I think what we're going to do is we're going to roll right into part two and kind of start to break down the Pure Cert and the conference that you guys run. So I'm hoping that maybe you could give me a little bit of a high level on what exactly is the DEM Pure Cert.
Sounds great.
The DEM Pure Cert is community monitored, community run, community educated. It's now community grown. Josh and I started it. He's just going to go get a plug-in. Josh and I started it because we really felt that the definition of organic and the organic certification did not at all represent what it is that we were interested in. So we did it as an activist statement, first of all. And then we started realizing, well, wait a minute, we have friends who are running totally organic systems, and then their flowers are being tested or their concentrates are being tested and they're failing. And they were running all OMRI certified, or excuse me, not certified, OMRI registered materials. They thought that that was organic. And so basically cannabis has lifted the veil of all of the toxicities that OMRI certifies, as well as a lot of the organic inputs that are out there. So we created as an activist statement, and as well as a certification that we know could be a plug and play, that any farmer that utilizes these systems, that we know that they're going to be successful with their tests, they're going to be successful in the market, and they're also going to be not adding so much money, energy, time, people, hours. So our main goal is that small cannabis farmers are successful into the future, because we believe that cannabis is a master plant. We believe that cannabis opens our minds. It helps lead us into a much better direction into the future. And also it is holding the door for a lot of other psychedelic conscious raising plants to come into the realm and be able to be legalized right now. So our focus has been on cannabis, and our focus for the success of small cannabis farmers is what's going to give cannabis its success into the future. So by creating the DEM Pure certification, it's free, it's community monitored and community run, like I said before, because we never wanted it to be a pay to play. It's not like you could just spend a lot of money, hire some guy to do a bunch of regenerative systems, greenwash your marketing, and then just step on board and make a payment and just, do your yearly fees. So we decided to make it free, because that to us is the definition of regenerative. You can't just step in it. And also, how could we be asking money of a small farmer when they already have a tremendous amount of fees to even enter into this new industry? Mm-hmm. That we wanted it to be something that they could rely on, not something that they had to constantly support, something that they could be supported by. So all of DEM Pure community, we're a family now, and we support each other tremendously with questions, with nutrients. If there's bulk orders, we support each other. If there's a big consultation, I know that there's other people that are part of DEM Pure that would be able to handle different parts of the consultation better than we would be able to. So we feel like we're taking on the true definition of what it is to be regenerative by creating a certification where people of all shapes and forms and, that are all really sort of keyed into this regenerative lifestyle could educate rightfully for the plant, have a rightful voice for the plant, and have rightful education for soil building for the rest of the industry. And it's not exclusive. Anyone can be a part of it. And
it's not about what country you're from. It's not about the USDA. It has nothing to do with the USDA standards, or that's not even interesting to us. When someone says, "Oh, it's the same as like that," great, you've mimicked a broken system, and we have no value for that. So we want to be the change that we want to see in the world. Great, you grow good cannabis. Do you grow good tomatoes? Do you know that there's 5 different colors of tomatoes and 6 different kinds of cauliflower? And do you know that most of the broccoli that we eat is a feminized version of a clone? You know, there's no diversity in our food system. There's no diversity in our cannabis. So what we're saying is, you have to grow food. You have to grow medicine. You have to have intentional packaging. You can't use butane. You can't use toxic chemicals after you've supported every natural system in the world. Now, there might be a place for those toxic extracts. I don't know. But in our world, we see it as degradative. So what we want is, we're trying to make every step be a positive impact on the earth. It's a big job, but it's the job. It's the job. We have to minimize microplastics. We have to minimize heavy metal toxicity in our body. You know, we want to ingest activated charcoal. We want to maybe put biochar in our soil. You know, I mean,
and we have to stop looking towards these popular systems as the education towards our future. We do feel like big education has drawn us down wrong roads. We do believe that the 12 years of education that you get in the US and in North America and in Europe is not educating us in ways that it's educating us to utilize the broken systems that they've set up. And we need to no longer think inside of those systems. We need to think outside of the box. So the DEM Pure certification is based in closed loops. It's not based in amendments. It's based in what kind of closed loop systems can you come up with? And it's really awesome. It's like new closed loop systems are being made every day within our group that we hadn't even thought about before, because we feel like this is the rightful education to bring forward to the new generation so that they can break out of thinking that learning about broken systems is actually making you a smart, educated person. We need to stop that. It's a falsified sense of what an educated being is. And we don't believe that learning all of the systems and becoming book smart on systems that are broken makes you smart or makes you intelligent. And we need to change that definition of what intelligence is.
We like the plants. We need to rise above, like rise up from the rhizosphere, RHIZE. We need to rise above and be more intelligent than what's given to us, because often the systems that are given to us give us just not enough. We're just not given just not enough. And so in these systems, we're hoping to empower. We're hoping to create strength. And I think the systems are trying to tell us that we can't do it. But then we realize, oh, wow, not only can we do it, it's actually pretty doable and easy.
Yeah,
absolutely. So there's a couple different things I wanted to address there. Actually, I really like the whole free aspect, right, of this certification. It provides, in my opinion, a huge air of legitimacy, right? The removing the pay to play removes any question that somebody actually achieved this certification, right? It provides some validity to, oh, yes, I am DEM Pure certified, and I earned it, right? I earned it because it's there, because the inspiration behind it is pure, conveniently in the name there, right? And So yeah, I think that's awesome. I also I wanted to kind of circle back to what I think is a really like a pivotal sort of corner of the certification itself is the 6 closed loops that are required as a minimum. Can you kind of dive into a little bit of what exactly you mean by a closed loop and maybe give an example of what one of those might be?
Yes. Even in biodynamics, they talk about closed loop. Rudolf Steiner from the 1800s into the early 1900s. Closed loop farming is ancient farming of the past. It's historical farming. All farming was closed loop. Let's say until the 40s, when the nuclear age started and plastic started and war started on that level. Now all of the war chemicals got turned to fertilizer, and those fertilizers became the end of cannabis and hemp growing, and it became the new era of modern farming. Since the 40s, people have lost their power. They've lost their strength. We believe by creating 6 closed loop systems, we re-empower the humus being. We re-empower the person to say, wow, I don't have to have plastic bottles going to the garbage. I can take my leaves that I'm defoliating off the cannabis and create a worm farm or mulch. I can have water coming off, the say making hash. The water coming off the hash is usable back in my system. Leaves back in my system. When you take the stalk at the end of your cycle, it's really easy to chip and shred that. You can get a chipper shredder for like $120, the smallest one they make at the store, and you can chip and shred your cannabis stalks and put that back into the top part of your soil. You can take food scraps and you can put your food scraps in different parts of your bed and the soil and create life in your soil by that closed loop. These are stacking functions. You're stacking different functions. That's a permaculture term. So a closed loop is taking something and having it go into the next system.
Well, and also that a closed loop means that it starts and it ends on your farm or in your garden. It started there and it ended there. So a lot of people would like to say, well, I'm doing cover crops. Well, that's a closed loop. Well, not until you're growing your own seeds for the cover crop have you now created a closed loop, because you're no longer buying the seeds from someplace else. You don't know what type of cyanobacteria is on there. We've even tested a tremendous amount of barley that have come up incredibly toxic, beyond toxic, but when you're creating your own seeds, then you have a closed loop. And when we talk about 6 closed loops, it's not like, if you make your own nutrients, if you're growing your own comfrey and you're making your own comfrey, that is like one closed. You're making your own, nutrients from that comfrey, like a green fermented juice or something from that. That's one closed loop. It doesn't matter if you've got cannabis also, that's still a single closed loop. It's very difficult to get 6 closed loops. So people that are DEM Pure certified not only have to find those autonomous 6 closed loops, not where one loop leads inside of the other, and let's just call that an extra loop. It has to be an independent closed loop, like what Josh was just saying. You grow your cannabis, you can utilize the cannabis leaves, you can utilize the hash water from it. That's one closed loop. And so what I'm saying is that, anyone that you see as a DEM Pure certification, whether it's on Instagram or on a product, these people had to utilize those 6 integrate or independent closed loop systems for at least one whole year. So they couldn't just come up with it, but they have to show that it's working. They have to show that it's happening, that it is a closed loop that's working. So tried and true 6 closed loops.
And indoors, you may have a dehumidifier or an air conditioner, which water comes off of. There's ways of using that water, which becomes a closed loop. And maybe it's solar, maybe it's making your own hydroelectric, maybe it's growing trees and using the leaves from the trees.
Creating your own frass. A lot of people now are starting to grow insects and they're creating their own frass.
On our website, we have a closed loop page, and it shows an example of all these closed loops. And we do have a DEM pure certification for hemp farming in the field, one for indoor growing, and one for regenerative outdoor growing. And we have one for products and educators as well, just to make it like a full-bodied certification.
Excellent. We'll have to share that with our audience.
Yeah, your guys' website is absolutely phenomenal, and we'll put that in the show notes. And please, listeners, go take a look and check out some of their products and all of their process. You have a wonderful explanation of literally everything we're already talking about right now.
Your website is a wealth of knowledge.
And so there's two different websites. One is our website, which is dragonflyearthmedicine.com, and it goes into great detail of all of the different ingredients, why we put it in there, why are they dynamic in each one of the nutrients that we do. But there's also the dempurefarms.com website, and that's for the Dem Pure, and that's where it has all of the list of the closed loops, the farms, a little bio of the farms.
It has a lot of articles. There's a lot of articles in there. They haven't been updated in a few months, but there's some incredible information all the way back to 2013, I think, was one of the first articles we wrote and stuff. So there should be a lot of information for people.
Awesome. We are coming up to the end of our hour. I wish we could talk forever, to be honest. This has been an amazing conversation. I do hope that we can have some follow-up conversations, because there's just so much to unpack. And this is a whole story, and it's really a lifestyle that I think with education, especially in post-COVID times where people are really looking at health and wellness and the quality of the food that they're eating and the water that they're drinking, this is really a hot time for this to catch on like wildfire. I would really like to just quickly touch on the Science of Organic Regenerative Cannabis Cultivation Conference. What is that about, and where and when is it? Because I think Justin and I are looking at each other. It's time for us to make a trip. So can you tell us just a little bit about that, please?
Real quick before you dive in there. I wanted to ask, though, was it the intention to make the name a tongue twister? Because I've been struggling so hard to say that.
I don't think so. I think it was just, wow, this really sums up, everything. But, to be fair, Joshua Rutherford from Dutch Blooms was really the originator.
And Leighton Morris.
And Leighton Morris originally. Now Leighton's doing something different, and Joshua Rutherford is now taking on the science of regenerative cannabis. And I believe, the purpose of it was to bring science into the spiritual aspects, because often regenerative agriculture, it starts as a spiritual move. It starts as an inspiration, and then often people want science to validate it. Now, we're a little less on the need for science to validate something, because, to be honest, it's already happening in nature forever. It's nice when science points out some of the stuff. So it's not to not love science. It's just regenerative agriculture is so much more intuitive. It's so much more plant, herbalism based and stuff. So, but it has been canceled because of COVID. It is starting next year. Would you like to tell people where it is?
Yeah. So they're going to be the last weekend of every month from January, February, March, April, and into May. And we're going to be in different states and locations for each one of those weekends. And Josh and I are really excited because we're going to be doing 2 different 3-hour sessions each day. And we're going to get in really deep, and we're going to have circle sessions, and we're going to all be able to talk about where we've come from to where we all need to go, what practices other people are doing. So it's going to be a lot more like an integrative workshop that Josh and I are running, as opposed to just a presentation to our group, because we really want to hear from everybody. We want to sit in circle. And we haven't been together with humans in so long. We want to hear what's been going on with everybody. And we want to check in with Heart Space before we check in with Regenerative Agriculture Space. It's really important for us to recheck in with our community and with our culture. And our community and our culture is the cannabis community and culture. So,
and I'm pretty
really
sure it's going to be in California, Oklahoma, Michigan, and Maine. It would be
and California.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then the evolution would be really, really awesome to get out to Europe. Now, we are involved in Product Earth, which is happening in August out in the UK. And we have a network and a distribution and a booth there with Ion UK and Hemp in Ireland, Martin.
Big up to you, Martin.
So Product Earth in the UK is an amazing event. We hope to make it there, but I sort of don't know if the borders are going to open up yet for us to do that. But by next year in January, the hope is we can travel, because right now we're locked down and we can't travel. And for the Product Earth, we're planning on having a whole DEM area, DEM Pure, where we'll be ongoing educational workshops throughout their entire 4 days, and have like a big tent, and we'll have a lot of our seeds from all of the different breeders and everything that are part of DEM Pure. So we are all joining together to give people a more holistic education in regenerative agriculture and in regenerative lifestyle. And also because we all really hanging out together. And it's just great when we all get together and have on the information.
Well, we hope that one day you'll be able to come to New York.
Are we still there? Did we lose you guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We'll be in Maine.
Yeah, we're close.
We're going to be in Maine.
We're legal now, so we're looking, we're actually going to be throwing a cannabis event later this year, and we would love to get involved. If you ever, want to bring the event to New York, use us at our network and our outreach. We would love to have you. We'd love to help you in whatever way we can. I think it speaks for both of us that we both very much love what you're doing and really respect and both of you. And it's been a great honor to have you. I've learned so much, and I really do hope that we can have another conversation, because this has been amazing.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to make sure that I make either that Maine or Michigan show next year. I look forward to that. I've been I heard about it. I think it was first on the Growing with Fishes podcast with Potent Ponic Steve there, have been wanting to get out and have just had such a ridiculous schedule over the past few years that I haven't been able to make it happen. But I do want to say, we didn't even come close to touching most of the stuff that we wanted to try and pick from your guys' brains today. So if we could get you to come back on the show at some point in the future, that would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, we would really love that. That would be great. It would be a great honor for us. And also, as far as New York and coming out there and, doing what you guys have, we'd love to come to your conference. We'd love to boost New York. We're really excited about the new legalization that's happening there. And we are definitely planning on coming out to New York and
my mom is from the Bronx.
Sitting in a circle with everybody. So my family is also from New York.
She's got the Italian New York. I got the Puerto Rican Bronx, New York.
Perfect. Well,
but you guys have an event, we'll show up.
That's
awesome.
Right.
Awesome. We'd love to have you. That would be amazing. So thank you guys so much, everybody. This has been another fantastic episode of Cannabis Cum Laude. Josh and Keller here from Dragonfly Earth Medicine. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you guys so much. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Save the old growth.
Thanks to our friends here at Rockbox Recording and Production in Rochester, New York. They are a full professional podcast and video studio designed by a radio guy for podcasters. Audio, video, voiceovers, editing, whatever. Mouth off at Rockbox at rockbox.com.
You can follow Cannabis Cum Laude on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Cannabuzz. Type Cannabis Cum Laude into your search bar and you should be able to find us, but the links will also be posted in the episode notes as well. If you want to help support the show, head on over to Patreon, and that will ensure that we're able to keep the best quality sound and video coming to you on a regular basis. And if you liked what you heard today, please don't forget to rate and review the show.